Welcome back to another Product Spotlight. I'm John, and today we have the rest of the models that were in this box from ExactRail. So let's head over to the workbench where I have them set up and ready to look at. All right, here's what we're looking at today. This is actually 3 HO scale Pullman Standard 4427 covered hoppers from ExactRail. These models come from ExactRail's Platinum Series, and they go for $54.99. I looked at ExactRail's website and found 9 different varieties, including an undecorated kit that you can get and build yourself. So what we'll do, because I have 3 here, is we'll look at the first one in some detail, and then we'll sort of skim over the other 2, as the quality and level of detail on all 3 is going to be pretty similar. So let's take a closer look. All right, so here we go. I kind of like this paint scheme the best, so I chose this one, Grain Company Ink. So looking at the paint, as usual, it's pretty flawless. And even the smallest writing is legible if you put your magnifying visor on. Something that I really like about these cars, and we'll take a closer look at it, but you can see it from here, is the fact that all this stuff on top is photo etched, the walkways and stuff. Now, that also presents some challenges in some cases, which I'll talk about when we look at the roof of the car. But otherwise, you can see for yourself that this is about as good as you get. Looking at the brake end is a little bit of a challenge. It's hard to see the detail because it's all black on a black background. But I put the lights in a way that you should be able to see most of what I'm going to show you, including the separately applied brake wheel, platform, all the detail that goes down to the bottom of the car. These are wire grabs that make up the ladder on the ends. And then there's a really fine cut lever. And just on the other side of the coupler, there's an air hose. I do want to mention, and again, this is something that ExactRail does. These are Katie number 58 couplers that it comes with. So what could you do to this car? I guess weather it, right? That's the only thing missing. Katie's already there. Cut lever's already there. Airline is already there. Just doesn't get any better than this. It's really hard to see, and this is really challenging as someone who does video all the time to get this detail to show up. But if you look down in there, there's some extra brake detail behind all this surface stuff that's out of focus, right back in here. That's all little, really small piping, and there's a reservoir back in there. That's just really cool. While we're at it, I'll point out the air hose right there. Very cool. The A end of the car has similar detail, including the cut lever, air hose, Katie number 58 coupler. It's just a very well done model. So I very briefly alluded to the idea that all of the walkways on this model are photo etched, separately applied parts. And something to think about, and this happens in my office here where I do these product spotlights, is that when you have something that's this thin, that's metal, it fluctuates with temperature. So it's cold in my office during the winter, and it seems like I always get this kind of model during the winter where it has extended amounts of photo etched parts. This actually can warp, and it exhibits itself by just kind of having a wavy appearance. And as I was unpacking these models, I saw one that had that. And that's what made me remember to mention that, because if you don't know that's going to happen and you live in a cold place, or these get delivered by the mail person who just came and it's really cold where you live, those might be warped. And the reason I mention it is because you don't have to worry about it. Just let them acclimate to room temperature and they'll straighten out. The details on the underside are pretty much what you'd expect from an ExactRail model. The discharge gates have very good detail. There's some piping down in here. Remember on the brake end, all the little reservoir and all that piping and stuff? That's where most of the brake system components go on cars like this, so there's not a lot to look at down here. All right, I've done the old switcheroo on you. We're looking at the orange one next. And again, same kind of detail, just like we were looking at on the other one. Take a look at the roof real quick. And again, it's all similar detail. It's all photo etched roof walks. It looks especially good. And I mentioned a minute ago about warping. You can see this one panel right here. There's a slight depression, and that's because it's cold out here. And it could have easily warped upward, but it's almost not noticeable unless you're really looking at it. So that's what I'm talking about. Be on the lookout for that. If you see it, don't worry. Just put it in your layout room, and when it gets acclimated to room temperature or something more reasonable, it won't be like that anymore. Something else to mention, since I have the side showing right now, is that this particular model is decorated a little bit differently from the one we were just looking at. It actually has the, I forget what you call this. Is it an ACI label, I think, or something like that, that was used for tracking these things? That's a separately applied part. It's pretty cool. And then I thought I would show you the brake end real quick. And again, same thing, separately applied details, lots of extra little pipes and a reservoir and stuff back in there. Looks really good. Let's take a quick look at that green one. Right, so while it's still fresh in your mind, you'll notice there's no ACI label here. So again, prototype specific detail. I don't know that there's any company out there that does a better job than ExactRail at that kind of thing. And here we go. Just in case you thought I was making up all that stuff about the detail, the piping and all that stuff back in there, you can see it on this one because it's a better color to show that. And, you know, it's all there. Everything. The reservoirs, the piping, the air hose, the cut lever. It's just an amazingly detailed model. And it's hard to tell, but that brake platform looks like a photo etched piece as well. The photo etched walkways and hatch detail on this model just look really amazing. I think that's one of the real standout features, if you want to call it that, is that amount of photo etched detail on the top. That is just, it looks so realistic. I love it. Okay, and looking at the bottom, once again, this is something I didn't mention on the other two models because it's impossible to see on those, the black on black detail, but you can see it on this one. There's actually a brake component that comes out from under the truck here and runs along the side of the car and then goes back under this truck over here. And so it's there. It's not on this side, it's only on this side, which I promise you is a prototype specific detail that a lot of manufacturers wouldn't have put on there, but this is ExactRail and that's what they do. These are some of the best covered hoppers I think I've ever seen. And it's no surprise, ExactRail goes to great lengths to super detail models that you can take out of the box, maybe put some weathering on and put them on your layout and just run them. I'm really excited by the fact that they include the Katy couplers. That's something that a lot of manufacturers don't do, and it's something that a lot of modelers end up switching out. So with these models, you get something you can take straight out of the box, run it on the layout just day one if you want to. If you're not into weathering, that would be a great way to go. So anyway, great job, ExactRail. I can't wait to see more. I know they have more stuff coming out this year, so it's going to be a good year for modelers. I'll see you next time.